Hello and welcome back to Let's All Laugh At, the football podcast that thrives at someone else's expense. I'm George and I'm joined by Johnny and Andrew. This is a week where all of our teams lost this week, apart from mine because we didn't play, but that's as bad as a loss in my opinion in an FA Cup weekend. So yeah, hope you guys are doing better than that.
Yeah, not too bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, all right. Well, we will start with you then, Andrew, because there's actually not too much to say about Newcastle that we haven't said already, so we might as well just get it out of the way. Villa 2-0 against Newcastle, pretty expected result given Villa's form and given Newcastle's. Is there anything new really to add?
No, not really. I think there was a slight difference. We were crossing the ball more, trying to play it more into Andy Carroll, but the same problems existed where the midfield is awful. He went with three at the back again, and the wing backs, but again, Jamal Lewis was atrocious again. Defensively, we were lucky to only come away 2-0, and then Darla, who's been our best player this season, was also not very good. So he had his worst game of the season, especially the first goal. Why he's not going out with his hands, I have no idea. But to be honest, it is what it is. Nothing's going to change really. If we're not bringing any players in and we're not changing manager, there's nothing going to really change because he doesn't know how to solve the problems, and the players on the pitch just not good enough. The only bonus we have is that Maximin was on the bench yesterday and came on for a bit, and he will make a world of difference carrying the ball and having a bit more attacking threat. I still think we're really in lots of trouble.
Yeah, I was going to say the Maximan back for you is massive. He's a lot like Zaha with us, who he's really your only outlet of creativity in a lot of instances. So getting the ball to him as much as possible is going to be crucial for keeping you out of danger, really.
Yeah, last season in particular when he was playing, you could notice the huge difference, and he could do it against the top six sides as well. Like he can go past people and create space and everything like that. He's only 23, so he's still got time to develop and everything. But he's at the moment, with the lack of amount of possession we have, he's gonna be frustrated as well. But hopefully he'll make something if he's back in the starting lineup very soon.
Yeah, I'm a massive St. Maximin fan personally. I think he's a really great player. I've always said he's the most Palace non-Palace player that I've seen. With his style of play obviously, and also his antics on Twitter and social media as well. We have a lot of players like that. Players like Batshuayi, Van Aanholt. I would love him at Palace. He fits all the bills. He's very young, very tricky. Could partner Zaha or even replace him very well, I thought. But Newcastle aren't going to sell to a mid-table rival unless they go down, and I don't. Maybe they might do, but I do think
too good for Palace, to be honest.
Well, no, he is definitely too good for us, but also we've got Zaha's too good for us as well, and he's still here. So I would like to, and he is the sort of we have to try and replace caliber like for like. So that's what I would go for. But yeah, Johnny, do you have anything to add?
Well, I mean, again, it was a very poor Newcastle performance. I do have a little bit of sympathy for him with the first goal with Watkins' header. I mean, I feel sorry for Schär because if he leaves the ball, then he's offside. But then it's his instinct to go for the ball, and that rule it's a joke, really is. I mean, I felt sorry like in midweek for Villa against Man City when Bernardo Silva was offside, and it's just that rule needs to be changed because I don't like it because I think if he leaves the ball, he's offside, and Watkins is offside. But I don't like that rule. I'm not a fan of it. It's
causes confusion, that rule, doesn't it?
It does, absolutely. Because as a defender, and believe me, when I played, I was definitely not a defender. But it's your instinct to go for the ball. You're not going to leave the ball because then you run that risk of you might think he's offside, and then you leave the ball and he's got a simple tap in. That rule is it's a very, very horrible rule. And I think hopefully that will get looked into because it's ruining games as well. Because not a fan of it at all. But yeah, very poor from Newcastle. Callum Wilson, I feel a bit sorry for him. He's getting no service. Hopefully, when Maximin comes back, he can get some service. But Newcastle, I said it in the group chat. I said a couple of weeks ago, I don't think they're going to go down, but with their current form, they're not playing very well. And if they don't start picking up points, they're gonna get dragged in, aren't they?
Yeah, you've got Leeds at home next. Leeds are on a bit of a downward spiral, so it's a big opportunity for them to pick up a win, in my opinion, and stop the rot. But if they don't, I think they've got some pretty tough games after that. So it could be a bit of a long. Well, they've got Palace in a few weeks' time, like 2 or 3 games' time. So I fully expect us, especially if they haven't won by then, to be our usual charity and give them their first win in about 10. But apart from that, we'll move on. We'll move on to you, Johnny, because unfortunately you didn't fare much better. 1-0 against Southampton in the FA Cup. Normally such a deadly team in the competition, but now really your only hope left of a trophy, except apart from maybe the Europa League, but is over basically. So it looks like your vision of getting mid-table and a trophy, or top half on a trophy, is not going to come to fruition. So it's got to be all about the top 6 now surely.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was a poor performance. We deserved nothing out of the game. I mean, Southampton, they won the game. They weren't fantastic either, to be honest. It was quite a poor game of football. I've always defended Mikel Arteta, but I thought he got the selection wrong yesterday. Players like Pepe and Willian, he keeps giving them chances, and they keep letting him down. Pepe was dreadful yesterday. I keep giving him chances. I keep defending him, saying, he's a trier. Yeah, he tries, but there was one thing yesterday when he was 1-on-1 with the left back, and he cut inside, and he fell over his own feet, and it happens time and time again. He's just not good enough. I thought we would play better in the second half when Saka came on and Partey, but yeah, it was pretty poor. We didn't create enough chances. Southampton, quite a routine victory for them, and they weren't great either, to be honest. But it wasn't a great game. If you're a Southampton fan, you loved it because you're through, but it was a pretty poor game. But yeah, hopefully I'll never see Willian and Pepe in the same team again, because they're just not good enough. And I remember some idiot on here said Willian would be signing the summer. What's an idiot?
You are the only one that's brought that up on the whole of this. I don't remember. I was about to before you did, but none of us, not even Andrew, brought it up. Like, I don't even think he was on that show. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, probably got to laugh at yourself, haven't you? He's just not good enough, and he's still a good player. But for Chelsea, he was superb. But for us, it's just something's not going right, and yeah, it's really poor. But again, we've got him on Tuesday night, so if we win that, then he's kind of justified. I know Aubameyang wasn't playing yesterday because he had a personal issue. I'm not sure what that's all about. Something with his family, I think. But who knows if he's going to be playing on Tuesday. But yeah, it wasn't a great game, and we can't win the cup again, which is disappointing. But we go again. It's just poor, really poor.
What do you make of them playing Cedric Suarez at left back?
I mean, Suarez. I mean, he played quite well against you boys on the other night. He played quite well, set up a goal, and I don't know why Tierney wasn't playing. I'm not sure why that was. I mean, Suarez, he's a steady player. I do think he's not a left back, is he? To be honest, as I say, it was quite difficult to pick an half decent performance yesterday. He said it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was just a really poor performance from everyone, really. But as I say, I mean, I must admit I felt very flat after the game because Southampton are a good side. Don't get me wrong, they're a good side, but I was hoping with the form we were in, we might put up more of a fight, but it's just poor, really poor.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. You do have them again on Tuesday. We've known this has been a bit of a trend this season where you have one game in the league and then you'll have the same game in the cup like a week or even like 2 days later. It's quite mental. Like we had Man United Liverpool this weekend and last weekend. We had Arsenal Newcastle, and now we've got Southampton and Arsenal. We've had one more as well. I'm pretty sure that I can't remember. So it's been one of those seasons. Like I don't think I've seen that many like repeat fixtures so close together like in one season.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, so, as I say, Southampton are a good side, and but hopefully we can get some revenge on Tuesday. We need to bounce back because, as you said at the start, the league is kind of we've got the Europa League, of course. That's going to be a stretch to win that. There's some decent sides in that, and we've got Benfica, and they're no mugs. There's no reason why we can't win it, but I think getting maybe top 6 is more of the aim. Who knows? It's still quite tight, in the top half. So. Who knows?
Yeah. And as for the next game, sort of relating to that, Martin Odegaard looks like Fabrizio Romano has given the old here we go. So it looks like that's going to happen on loan. No option to buy in the deal apparently, but there'll be room for negotiations at the end depending on how he does, depending if Arsenal want him or not, and if Madrid are willing to let him go. But what do you make of that signing?
I mean, he's a talent, and I didn't we'd get him, to be honest. He's still very young. He's obviously got talent because otherwise Real Madrid wouldn't have signed him. But, it's going to be interesting how he fits into the Premier League because we've seen so many players come over from Spain and other countries and not really hit the ground. So hopefully he can do
Like
that.
Mesut Ozil.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll make Mesut. Yeah, he's going to be. He's a talent, and hopefully he can improve us. We need that sort of attacking midfielder. Yeah, I mean, he's a decent player. Whether he can suit the Premier League is a different matter when he's being kicked every 5 minutes. Yeah, but he's a decent player, and hopefully we can give him some game time because he's a talent. But Mesut Ozil, yeah, he's finally gone to Fenerbahce, and but I had a rumour. I don't know if you've seen it. Apparently the Fenerbahce chairman or the owner has he wants the fans to send a text, like £2 a text, to try and cover the wages or something like that. I don't know if you've seen that. I don't know how true that is.
I saw that. Our fans were saying, like, we should do the exact same with all our transfers. They get the money in about 12 hours.
Yeah, I mean, that can't be true, can it? I mean, imagine that guy you're with, because they're like £460 million worth of debt, and you think to yourself, if you just text this number and we can buy Mesut Ozil. Oh, okay. Oh, it's just very bizarre. It can't be true, surely.
Well, yeah, maybe it's more of a cultural thing in Turkey. I don't know. I can't say I'm a particular expert on Turkish football, but yeah, it's a bit of a strange thing. But if it does get them the money, then fair enough. Andrew, I think it was you that said that you were worried about the Odegaard signing and stifling the younger players' development.
I just think why you strengthen your position when Smith Rowe is playing so well there, because it could be like it might mean he has to play Odegaard in that position. And I think loaning someone for 3-4 months is weird, especially someone, let's say he does really well, he'll probably go back to the Real Madrid squad. If you look at the deal with Ceballos, he hasn't done very well. That's why Real Madrid are probably like, we'll keep him on loan. But I think the Odegaard signing makes no sense because it'll stifle Smith Rowe because they're fighting for the same position.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, no, I completely understand that view. I mean, there is that view, of course, but I kind of think as well that it's to keep maybe Smith Rowe on his feet, saying if you don't start playing well, there's a player that can fill in for you.
I think competition is always good, especially with young players. I mean, we've seen players like Joel Ward last year and Patrick Van Aanholt, where there was literally no one, no other fullbacks in the whole squad, and their performances massively tailed off. Townsend as well last season. So I think competition does help players because it pushes them.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's always true. I think it does stifle. We've had it where we've got a really good youngster who's about to make the first team, doing well, and then we go and sign someone, and that youngster never got a chance. And I think, especially Smith Rowe, he's doing so well. He's probably like, I've been doing well. Why are you signing someone who plays in my position?
Yeah, I think it depends on the manager, doesn't it? I think if you have someone like Steve Bruce or Roy Hodgson that doesn't like using young players, then yeah, they're obviously going to pick the senior one every time. But if you've got someone like Mikel Arteta, I mean, you'd have to speak. You'd know more than me about how good he actually is with youngsters. But if he does use them more, and if he sees them as first team players, then you'd like to surely. Then if competition can be a good thing, if you're actually willing to put them on a level playing field.
Yeah, absolutely. It can go two ways, can't it? This signing, Emil Smith Rowe can go. Actually, what's my position, and he's gonna do everything in his power to stay in that position. And if he doesn't, he knows that he's going to be replaced. And I think competition is good. You look at Man United, look with Luke Shaw. He was in bad form, and then they signed Telles, and all of a sudden Luke Shaw, he's up. The way he's playing at the moment, you'd have to say he'd probably be in the England squad. Because he's improved. So competition is good. I mean, with Smith Rowe, you don't want to put too much pressure on him because he's still very young. But who knows? I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing Odegaard. As I say, he's a decent player. But Smith Rowe still gets a nod because I think he deserves that. But if he starts dipping in form, then he knows he's going to be replaced.
Yeah, I mean, I am a massive Smith Rowe fan because he's a Croydon lad. So if he doesn't work out, you're more than welcome to send him down back home if you want.
He's too good for Palace.
So he is far too good for Palace, but you can at least there's a lot of players who end up at clubs that are too good. They're too good for because bigger clubs simply don't want them. So there's no reason it can't be us if we play our cards right. But either way, I don't think it will happen. I think he will do well at Arsenal. I think he'll probably stay. And I also don't think Arsenal will be that finish that high enough where they would be able to phase him out completely. I think he would always have a role to play in the position that they are right now, and I don't think they're going to be getting out of that anytime soon. Personally,
no, I totally agree. Yeah, we're nowhere near where we want to be. So yeah, I mean we can't. Yeah, I think he's earned his place, and I think for the moment he deserves his place in the squad. He's a phenomenal little player. Really like him.
But yeah, as for Southampton, I mean, they've obviously with the win that they had, they're in the fifth round. I forget who it is they're playing in Wolves, yeah, because it would have been us. I remember, like, it would have been us playing Southampton or Arsenal had we beaten Chorley and beaten Wolves. They've got, I mean, they are a club that's just, they are really the prime example of a club that is progressing. I mean, they had that dodgy couple of years beforehand with the relegation battles, and they sort of lost their way a bit. And I think they might have lost like to Leicester as well at home by a record scoreline. I can't remember. I just wish the pundits would mention it a bit more because I just can't quite remember. But yeah, I mean, under Hasenhüttl, I think they've found themselves a gem of a coach. I mean, I think he did a great job with Leipzig. And for a club like Southampton as well, I think he's more than good enough, and he's getting them really back to where they were. So obviously it's a matter of time before him and their best players get pinched.
Absolutely. And to be fair, I mean, Southampton, they're a good side. Got some quality players in there, you know. And when it comes to who's going to win the FA Cup, I mean, you know, of course, you know, United and Chelsea and teams like that. But I think, you know, Southampton, they're hard to play against, and you can't get Leicester as well. You know, I think the FA Cup's exciting this year. I don't think one of the big boys will win it. You know, I think it could be a time for one like a Leicester or Southampton to go.
Oh, I hope not, because every time that happens, all I think about is that could have / should have been us. Like at least when Man City thrashed Watford 7-0 in the final, it's like, well, okay, we were never going to win that game. But when it's a Portsmouth v Cardiff final, like, I mean, this was years ago now, but, you know, a club like, or when Wigan beat Man City in the final, you really feel like it really is a gut puncher. Like, well, if those clubs can do it, why not us? Especially with how not seriously we take the cup anymore. But yeah. I'm just bitter.
How is that lemon, George? Is it all right?
Hasn't left my mouth for about 3 years, mate.
Love that.
Yep, okay, so we'll move on. Seeing as how Palace didn't play this weekend, we do play West Ham on Tuesday, but as for the days gone by, we haven't played since we went out of the cup in embarrassing fashion. But since that's the case, I have something to talk about. I'm going to pick a game of my own to cover, and it might be a slightly generic one, but I don't care because it's a really good game. And seeing as particularly how Dan's not here, we have to mock him from beyond the grave, for lack of a better term. He is, for the record, he is very much alive and well, so don't worry. Like, it's not the literal grave, but yeah, Manchester United Liverpool 3-2, a very entertaining game, a lot more entertaining than we've seen from the last few Manchester United Liverpool games, particularly the one last week.
Yeah, great game, phenomenal. Really enjoyed it. You know, well, to be fair, the bar wasn't set very high, was it, from last week? So I think anything would have been better. And it was a really good game. Thoroughly enjoyed it. A lot of goals. All the goals were pretty good, to be fair. I mean, annoyingly, I missed the last goal, annoyingly, because I was eating my dinner. But yeah, all the goals were really good. I mean, that pass from Rashford to Greenwood was, God, what a ball that was. Phenomenal.
Yeah, from watching the game, I think Liverpool, their performance was much improved compared to Burnley. They had more cutting edge, but their defensive issues reared its head again. Reece Williams really struggled, made a mistake on the second goal in particular, where he let Rashford through. I think Mason Greenwood played really well. He's very good at stepovers, like creates a lot of space for himself. He does a lot of them as well. He impressed me a lot, and the other one who impressed me a lot was Pogba. I think Pogba was man of the match. I think he was really disciplined and he was up and down all the time. He played really well. They look like they need Cavani to play centre forward to get the wide players better involved. So I think I know he's older now. He's 33, but I do think he should be the first choice ahead of Martial now after the nine in the team.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Liverpool really have not been on a good run of form at all. Like, you think they're going to turn a corner and they just don't. They don't seem to. They really need to stop this rot and they can't. I saw a tweet on here that said Palace took a thrashing to sacrifice themselves so that Liverpool could suffer a downfall, which I thought was very funny. Which it really does feel like that. I mean, that result really is getting more and more embarrassing every weekend. But there you go. So I mean, I suppose the question really is, what can they do? What can they really do to recover it? I mean, they don't seem any closer to signing a centre back, and even then, I'm not necessarily sure that would fix their problems because it seems to be a mentality thing at the minute.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Defensively, Reece Williams, I think he's still very young, but he made a couple of mistakes, and I think, you know, when you still, you know, we're in the January now, and they still haven't signed a centre back, which I find that, you know, you keep playing Fabinho and Henderson at centre back. and not sign a centre back. Bit of negligence, I think, from Liverpool, because if you're going to get in the top four, which Liverpool, they probably will get top four, but if they carry on at the moment, they won't. Just buy someone for 3 months. It sounds silly, but get a Mustafi or something like that, because you need a centre back. As bad as Mustafi is half the time, to not buy a centre back, not to be in for anyone, is a bit negligent for me from Liverpool. And I think they improved Liverpool. I mean, going forward, they looked more of a threat. Salah's his movement's phenomenal as well. But defensively, if you've got to buy a centre back, haven't you? It's really poor from Liverpool. We're in January, as I said, and they haven't been in for anyone, which is very surprising.
Are you Mustafi's agent? Touting Mustafi?
Yeah, I am trying to get him a job, mate. To be fair. Yeah.
Mustafi and Socrates, you're doubling up, 2 for the price of 1.
Why stuff at Liverpool? Why not go Real Madrid, Bayern, Barcelona?
Yeah, no, I've been Liverpool. They will turn a corner. They've got too many good players not to. But defensively, they're worrying. I think any team, as it's been proven over the past couple of weeks, as good as they are going forward, if you get at them defensively, they're rocking without defenders. It's very, I don't know, it's very strange why they haven't bought anyone yet.
Yeah, I mean, but as for Manchester United, for me, they're probably, besides City, I'd say they're probably second favourites for the FA Cup now that Liverpool are out. Obviously, we've had Arsenal and Liverpool out now, so the bigger teams are getting smaller, and it's hard not to take Manchester United seriously with how they're doing. I mean, they had obviously that terrible start, losing to Palace at home. That's bad, but they keep winning games and they keep picking up results. So, is it time that we actually started taking them like proper seriously, or are they just going to lose on Tuesday or Wednesday night, whenever it is they play, and make us all look like mugs?
Hopefully, they lose next Saturday at 5:30 when they come to the Emirates. That's what I'm going to say. Because if we beat them, I can go, you ain't winning the league, no chance, unlucky. But it's a massive game next Saturday, because if we win, obviously if we beat, it's all if buts and maybes in football, isn't it? But if we beat Southampton and beat United, then we're right up there. So if United win on Tuesday, Wednesday night, whenever they're playing, and beat us, then you have to take them seriously. The league table doesn't lie. They're a good side, United, good side.
Would you play Gabriel against Southampton? He's had a red card and an own goal so far this season.
Oh God, Gabriel. He was stupid to get sent off at the Emirates back in December. Was it December he got sent off? I think it was. Yes, I'd play him again. Yeah. To be fair, we haven't got many. We've got Gabriel and David Luiz. I mean, I played Gabriel and Holding as well, to be fair. I play Gabriel all day long, because I think he's one of our better centre backs, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Well, since we're done with the games, I thought we normally sort of have a bit of a more broader discussion on football when we have topics for it. I thought quite interesting one to have this week was online. There's been a lot of, I've noticed on my Twitter feed in particular, there's a lot of, amongst the Palace fans, a lot of unrest right now, particularly over the way we play football, but that's sort of irrelevant to this particular conversation. But I feel like those negative things are harbouring, because I see a post from Patrick Van Aanholt after we lost 4-0 to City, where he was basically, having a bit of a joke with Raheem Sterling on Twitter, and saying, could you not maybe play that well next time in the next game, but well done on the win, and stuff like that. And a lot of Palace fans laid into him. They weren't happy at all that he was not taking the game seriously enough, well, even though he wasn't even playing. So it wouldn't have made a difference anyways. I sort of wanted to get, it sort of made me think, do we as fans take football too seriously? As in, because ultimately, I mean, there's one thing to be passionate about your team and want them to do well, but there's another thing to treat every game like a personal insult, and be so focused on. I understand having a winning mentality is important, but also there is such a thing as being too obsessive and making things a bigger deal than it should be, and it can ruin your mentality. And I just feel like it's never nice when we lose, but I really don't like getting angry about it, even though I have been angry about it before. I don't like it. So it's not a nice feeling. So, and I feel like that is because we take our football club so personally, and I feel like there is a line somewhere that we can draw. I don't know what you guys feel.
On the grand scheme of things, yeah, we do. I can take, me personally, I take football far too seriously. When Arsenal lose, I get the right ump. I can't lie about that. If we lose on a Saturday afternoon at 12 o'clock, my weekend's ruined. I'm not going to lie. But it's one of them things, isn't it? We've all, I don't want to, all the stuff going on in the world. Football is kind of an outlet for me personally. Take away football from the madness we're in at the moment, then I'd like to go mad, to be fair. But yeah, do we take football too seriously? That's a great question. That is a great question. Yes and no. I'm on the fence. See that? Like that? I'm on the fence. Because we do and we don't. I love football. I watch any old football. Andrew, please. I'm trying to think of an answer because I can't get my words out properly. But go on, you go first because it's a very good question. That.
I think, to be honest, if we take football to like when Newcastle lose, yeah, I'm annoyed, I'm angry, but I won't like affect my weekend. Unfortunately, at the moment, there's nothing we're doing anyway. The Newcastle playing is the highlight, to be honest. But pre-COVID times, I think you should be annoyed and everything, but you shouldn't let it impact your weekend and so forth. I mean, I always find it funny, like when people say City win the league, and people will congratulate the City fan, oh, well done on winning the league. And he goes, oh, thank you so much, thank you. And I'm just like, the guy didn't win the league himself. He's not a player. It's nice that but sometimes I think we take it so much, like, oh, if we lose, they like feel sorry for us as well. It is,
Yeah.
and I think as well for players, I don't like the like smiling and laughing after say a 5-0 defeat or whatever. Like that would annoy me. Like, I think they need to be aware of that. That could annoy fans. So like, yeah, talk if you're mates with one of the players, maybe talk to him in changing room or the dressing room where the cameras aren't on.
Yeah.
What's that?
Like, just be wary. I think in particular, not now, but if you say you've travelled 200 miles to watch a game, and then at the end of the game you see your captain smiling, joking with the other teammates, A, you think he's not hurt by this result, and B, you're thinking, why am I spending all my money for this to support this clown? And it doesn't really hurt him because he knows he's going to go back to massive house, model life, and everything. So yeah, I think it's just about getting the right balance. And yeah, we care, but remember, it's not everything in life. But like, it still is so important. It's been especially like I've noticed in myself, it's been definitely the main outlet during this lockdown because there's nothing else happening really.
Yeah, I mean, with the Van Aanholt thing, I mean, yeah, he has been known to swap shirts with players after losing, so I can understand why fans maybe assumed the worst with him. But I think you're right. I think Roy Hodgson as well has smiled after getting thrashed multiple times, including the Liverpool match, which is not a good look. But also, like, the Sterling thing was multiple hours after the game. It was like 11 in the evening or something like that. Like, they had plenty of time to calm down. I feel like after the game, like, you really shouldn't. You just sort of have to move on and just not really take it that seriously, because people say it affects the mentality of the dressing room and you have to want to win at all times, and when you lose you should be humiliated and you have to treat the team like the enemy, and it's just like, this isn't war. Like, this is not it really. I mean, I know it does feel like that to some people sometimes because they're so connected to it, but I just feel like it is ultimately just a game that we all played on the playground when we were kids to have a bit of fun. It doesn't matter if they're being paid for it or not. Like, it's still, that's ultimately what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be a bit of fun. All right, it's more fun when you win. I get that. And similar things like with Nathan Ferguson posting on his Instagram story, congratulating Tariq Lamptey on signing a new contract at Brighton, which I understand more because obviously it's a rivalry. But like, even rivalries for me, like, all right, yes, obviously, it's, you don't want to lose to your rivals and it's good to win and take the piss out of them and all that sort of thing. But some people just take rivalries very, very seriously, to the point where there's actual deep, deep hatred between people just because of the team they support, which ultimately just comes down to turf wars. Like, I just think it's ridiculous how far people take it sometimes, and like, stepping back from the whole thing. Maybe that's just because I've started, I've grown closer to people who aren't really connected to football or sports in general and just don't really understand the whole thing. So it gives me a bit of a different perspective. But I just feel like I'm nowhere near as invested in the Palace Brighton rivalry was, for instance, as I was before. I still want to win, but like, I don't let it ruin my day, because there's no point of it really.
I know exactly what you mean. And with rivalries, I mean, don't get me wrong, believe it or not, I'm not a Spurs fan, don't like it very much. But like, but I'll go out of my way to, like, on Twitter, for example, like, people who abuse their rival teams' players because they don't like them. I can be totally honest with you, I don't think I follow a single Spurs player because I don't support them. Do you know what I mean? And I won't go out of my way to abuse a Spurs player or Spurs. I don't follow any Spurs fans. I don't think I might follow a couple, but and I always find that really strange on Twitter.
You're missing out, Johnny. Harry Kane is hilarious.
Yeah. Completely change the subject, I know, but
Instagram as well.
Yeah, but I don't follow any other way. I think I follow Arsenal, and I probably follow a couple of local teams, but I don't really follow any other team because I won't go out of my way to follow someone just to abuse them. I find it very strange. Like on Twitter and Facebook, you get people who follow certain like their rival teams and they abuse them. Like if you don't like them, just unfollow them. So I don't. And it always amazes me. I'm like, well, if you hate them that much. You can't hate that much because you followed them and you like it. I don't know that. Yeah, but I think with rivalries at the moment, I think the reason why when Arsenal lose at the moment because I can't go to games, it's less bothering. Like yesterday, I was gutted. Obviously, we lost the FA Cup, but when you can't go to a game, like when you go to a game and you lose, you're whole more invested by it. I think at the moment as we can't go to games, when you lose, yeah, I don't know. It's maybe just me. But I feel less bothered when we lose because I can't go. If you know what I mean. Maybe it's just me, but yeah, like if I go to a game we lose, gutted, wins the weekend. On TV, you just switch off and go, bargain hunt time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
I don't watch bargain hunt. I have no idea.
You know, it's fantastic.
Is it because it shares the same last name as you?
Yeah, pretty much. That's it, mate. Yeah. Storage hunters, bargain hunters. Yeah, I love it all, mate. Anything is, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, I said rivalries is good. Do you know what I mean? We love a rivalry. I mean, I don't like. I mean, with my hatred with Spurs, when Arsenal and Spurs are not playing against each other, I don't really care about Spurs. I only really hate Spurs now when we play them. Other than that, I'm not really bothered. I don't know how you feel about Brighton. Like you hate them. You don't like Brighton. But...
Well, no, I don't like them doing well, but like that, I used to really hate them. Like just I think the thing is, everyone wants to have a supervillain, don't they? Everyone wants to be the hero and have someone to hate unconditionally. And that's
Michael Owen.
Yeah, exactly. Just focus on individual people instead. But no, in all seriousness, like, yeah, I mean that's ultimately that's what draws football to a lot of people to football is the tribalism that you can just support a team and hate another team without thinking. What's probably the least harmful way of doing so, especially compared to stuff like politics. Jesus Christ. But that's what attracts a lot of people. For me, it just makes it a lot more toxic. Personally, like I'm not a fan. Like I understand, like you don't want to cheer when the other team score a goal, whatever. Like I'm not saying go that far, but there is a sensible balance to have. But like when you lose a game, like there's no point holding it against the other fans. Like I used to get really in the fans' faces when we scored as well. Like I don't really do that anymore. Even when I'm right next to them, I'm too busy celebrating with my own fans. So like I don't know. It's not. I'm definitely very weird in terms of football. I'm a very abnormal football fan. I've sort of accepted that, but I don't know. I'm definitely happier for it personally.
Oh, fair play to you. You know, and I used to be. I mean, I think I've come down a lot watching football. My missus will tell you when Arsenal used to play against like Spurs or United or Chelsea or anyone really. If Arsenal scored a goal, I was on the roof. I was going mad. And now, don't get me wrong, I still celebrate a goal. Don't get me wrong. You know, perfectly natural. But I've definitely calmed down now because you know it gives you an heart attack if you go mad too much. But I think now I say it when I go to games because I miss going to football. I know that much because you're right. That tribalism. You know, you're part of a community, aren't you? Like you're always one, and that's what I'm missing at the moment with not going to games. That's. Can we just go back to football now, please?
Yeah. Don't think they'll be coming anytime soon.
Me neither.
No, probably for the rest of the season, I'd say at least. But before we get too into that, we will move on to a lighter topic of the Let's All Laugh At. And there's not been too much that I can recall. I mean, I have got mine, but I'm interested to see what you guys have. So we'll start with you, Andrew.
Real Madrid. They exited the cup in the week to a third-tier team. I think they're called Alcorcón.
Yeah.
Just very embarrassing for Zidane as well, because Atletico Madrid are basically running away with La Liga at the moment, and Zidane probably needs either some good cup success or Champions League success. But they just look a shadow. I mean, they won the league last year. They didn't. He rested a lot of players. Still, they should be getting through that game easily. And I think Eden Hazard in particular has underperformed so much. He's been a disaster of a signing for them. Had problems with his weight when he first joined, then he damaged his ankle. Just keeps picking up niggling injuries. He's 29, 30 now, and I think they're getting a bit fed up with him, to be honest. And I wouldn't be surprised if he came back to the English Premier League. And to be honest, Hazard's one of the best players I've seen live. I'd say Hazard, David Silva, probably two of the best players I've seen live, and yeah, I think Real Madrid in particular. I mean, it was quite funny watching them, go out and everything. And then the other one was the Stockport manager. It's from a few weeks ago, but he wouldn't talk to Sky because he didn't fix his Skybox.
Yeah, I did see that. That's quite a good lower league one.
He wouldn't talk to Sky because he'd been trying to get a Skybox fixed for months.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do it. So, I mean, that's proper, pettiness. So, but good for him because it's really hard to get a Sky technician around sometimes. So he's done it. Good for him to make a more stance against.
Yeah, I mean, God, Stockport. That takes me back. I remember them as a Championship side or Division 1 back then, I suppose. But my best memory of Stockport. I mean, it's not mine because I wasn't old enough. This is your George doesn't remember of the week. But in 2001, I think it was, the very last day of the season, away at Stockport, needed a win to stay up, and Dougie Freedman with the last-minute winner. So that's my best memory. It was weird, like us going to Stockport, them being safe in the Championship, and us being in danger of relegation. Like, it's such a imagine telling that to our fans. Like, it's crazy. Imagine where they'd be. But in terms of Real Madrid, yeah, I mean, imagine being an Alcoyano fan. I don't know if they've ever beaten Madrid in their history before, possibly, but it's not often that you see them go out to third-tier teams, Madrid especially. It's not quite as upsetty in Spain, I don't think. But yeah, they are. I don't think they're going to get another Cup or Champions League victory, to be honest with you. And even then, we all know what Real Madrid fans are like. I mean, Zidane's obviously a legend at the club, both as a player and as a manager, but even that might not be enough for him.
It's crazy to think that he won 3 Champions Leagues to back, and he might be sacked. But yeah. I think they've got much more. Like, if you don't win the league or the Champions League, then what have you actually done? And yeah, I think as well for everyone in Spain, it's this Atletico Madrid shouldn't really be winning the title. Real Madrid and Barcelona's budgets are so much bigger. But if Atletico win, then I mean Simeone probably will get knighted as the Atletico owner or something like that. He's been such a great figure for them.
Yeah, I'm a massive Simeone fan. Yeah, anti-football master. Yeah, I mean, who says defense can't win you titles? But anyways, yeah. So what have you got, Johnny?
I mean, it's been quite difficult actually over the past week. It's been a lot. But I mean, the only thing I can really think of that made me chuckle was the Cheltenham game yesterday with Man City when Ben Tozer was about to throw the ball and Guardiola got in the way. Made me chuckle a little bit, and then Ben Tozer had to go back into the stanchion and Guardiola was just looking at him. It was quite amusing, quite petty. That it made me laugh. Apart from that, it wasn't a lot, to be honest. And Ben Tozer's amazing clearance when Mendy smashed the ball and he got in the way of it. How he headed that out, I don't know. Made me laugh. It was just like he had no right to head that ball. It was ridiculous. How good were Cheltenham yesterday, though? That was superb when they Cheltenham. Yeah,
I mean, they were a sort of local team to me when I was up in Bristol. I went to their game. I went to their ground for a couple of games to check the place out. It's a really nice club. They've been sort of battling to get out of League Two for a little while now. They had that terrible loss in the playoffs last year against Northampton, 2-0 up in the first leg and then lost 3-0. But Northampton went on to win the thing, so bit of a shame there. But, it was a really encouraging performance for them. And yeah, but unfortunately, my bitter Palace fan having Man City knocked out the cup and therefore someone else having a chance to win it in place of us is overriding how good it would have been for Cheltenham to beat them. So I am glad City won, but it does sort of highlight, like, City, they were 3-1, they were 1-0 down, and then they bring on, I forget exactly who they brought on, but they brought on a bunch of subs that completely changed the game. Like that's, in my opinion, it's a complete example of why 5 subs is a terrible idea, because it gives a tremendous advantage to the bigger teams, because even if they're not as good compared to the players they've already got, they're more than good enough to take out the smaller clubs. So it's just, I think it's completely disadvantageous personally.
Yeah, no. One thing I would notice about that game yesterday was the fact that when Man City scored them goals, you could the respect they have for Cheltenham, and fair play to Man City for that. Them celebrations were proper, like we got away with it for, because they gave them a good old scare. Cheltenham, they were superb, and Alfie May, who's he's the next local player around here where I live in Ashford. He's played for Hive Town, which is 15 miles away. He's played for them, so a little bit of a local lad. Well, sort of local, but yeah, great finish.
15-mile local, yeah.
But yeah, no, he's come through the lower leagues, and fair play to him. But Cheltenham was superb, and Phil Foden as well. I mean, that boy can play, can't he? Wow, I love watching him play.
Is he England's best player right now, him or Grealish?
I think that's a very tight one, to be fair.
Grealish.
I mean, they're both unbelievable, aren't they? I think Phil Foden, he's very silky. I like the way he plays. I think he's going to be an absolute star in the Euros, hopefully, as well.
Yeah.
We've got all of the same players, basically. We've got Foden, Grealish, Mount and Maddison.
We need centre-backs is what we need. As I've always been our problem with England. We've had very good attackers, but our defence has just been useless. No wonder we switched to 3 at the back.
I mean, George, you probably don't remember. We used to have a period where we had Rio, John Terry, Saul Campbell, Carroll.
Oh, I remember them. Euro 2008, Wally with the brolly and all that.
Do you remember Roberto Carlos?
Yes, I do remember Roberto Carlos.
What a player. Oh, what a player he was.
Do you remember that story I posted? Like, Roy Hodgson said, you'll never be good enough for Inter Milan. Let him go, and he became the best left back in the world.
Yeah, Tony Pulis and Sergio Gnabry all over again. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, there's a reason I want Roy Hodgson to move on at the end of the season. But we'll move on before Andrew can mock me too hard for that. I'm going to go for, I don't know if you saw this, I've gone for AC Milan. So you know how you have the the cardboard sort of cut out like fans that you have? You can pay fans to sit in the crowd basically and fill up seats. AC Milan did, I don't know if you saw this, AC Milan did that, but they did Fortnite characters instead, like, which I just thought was absolutely pathetic and just really, really cringeworthy. And then that game, they then lost 3-0 to Atalanta. So I thought that was very funny.
They deserve to lose 3-0 for doing that. That's ridiculous. Oh. No, yeah. I mean, that's against Fortnite. Don't get me wrong, I've never played it, but
me neither, actually.
Oh, God. No, straight in room 101, that is.
Oh, God, that's a good one, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't like judging something for not having played it, but it's more so the fact that you see it everywhere, and like I feel like, I don't know, like where do you get the connection with football and Fortnite, and especially AC Milan? Like I don't know, but it's either way, it's like, I mean, the title race in Italy is really getting interesting. I mean, because it is between Inter and AC by the looks of it, but if they have suffered as many losses as that, I mean, Milan lost to Juventus, for instance, either Inter will run away with the title, or it could let a couple more teams in, so you never know.
No, absolutely, it's good to see both Milans doing well. You know, like the old times when they ruled Europe, didn't they? Them two, they were both phenomenal with the players they had. So it's good to see.
George won't remember them.
No, you won't. But you know.
I remember both of them. I mean, you honestly, like, I remember Mourinho's Inter. I remember Ancelotti's AC Milan. Like, I do know all these teams. Like, you do talk about. I started supporting Palace in 2004. Like, I had plenty of time to figure that part out. At least.
Torres at Liverpool.
I said I remember Torres at Liverpool. I said I didn't remember him at Chelsea because I didn't see him play at Chelsea very much because he didn't do anything. Like, that's the point. But yeah, I mean, Milan. I mean, if I remember correctly, before Real Madrid won their 3 in a row, they were the most successful city in the world for Champions Leagues, 10 between them. So, you know, that's just all you need to know about the stature of their clubs. And good to see them back in the Champions League. And hopefully Atalanta as well, because I love them. They're one of my favourite teams in the world. And they're just outside the Champions League spots at the minute, sort of Europa League spots. So I'm hoping they can get back in it, because I want them to be Champions League regulars, personally, as much as possible. All right, so out of those 3, or 4 actually, I suppose, what are we going to go for?
I don't really know, really. I mean, mine's were pretty poor, to be fair, my one, so I can't win. I tell you, that Stockport one's quite amusing.
I was going to say I like the Stockport one, even though it's not from this week. Like,
that's right. Just like I'm not talking to you until you fix my skybox. That's really petty, but I like that.
Was their manager sacked as well? Like, I swear he was sacked this week. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. Yeah, he was sacked, or he left the club at least.
I'll need a skybox even more now.
Yeah, that's plenty of time to sort that out.
Skybox, no job. Oh dear.
Yeah, 21st of January. So that would have been Thursday. Yeah, I really should have researched this beforehand, but I wasn't expecting it to come up. So yeah, Sky clearly got on the word. Had sent a letter to the chairman.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, classic. I love little stories like that. That's what makes non-league so great. But yeah, that's about all the time we've got for this episode. Thanks for listening to this episode. Be sure to drop us a like and a follow, whatever platform you're on. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify at Let's All Laugh at a Football Podcast, as well as Twitter at LALA_podcast. Be sure to check out Johnny's work at Life's a Pitch. Be sure to check out Andrew's channel. Be sure to check out all of our social media. Links in the description, as always. Thanks to Dan and Andrew Johnny and Andrew for joining me, as always. You can tell I'm reading off a script. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. Take care.